Situated 200 kilometres northwest of Sydney is Bathurst, home to an Australian icon, the Mount Panorama race circuit. 6.2 kilometres long with 174 metres of rise and fall.
He's got a great start.
It is the most adrenaline-charged racetrack in the country.
Side by side through the chase as well.
The local talent will tell you it takes a lifetime to master.
Great drive out of turn 2 and Mostert goes through and grabs the lead.
And even the very best race drivers from around the world will say a lap here will take your breath away.
Oh, it's off! He's off! He's out! Gisbergen's gone off, coming down the hill.
Today, it plays host to its longest race of the year, a grueling endurance race known as the Liqui-Moly Bathurst 12-hour.
Listening now, and they want to be here, Krillsy.
It's become one of the big 5 endurance races around the world. Here's where we do it. We know it. We love it. 23 corners, 6.213 kilometres of amazing bitumen, Mount Panorama Bathurst. We break the lap up into 3 timing intermediates that we may reference over the course of the day. The big thing, as always, here is the elevation change. It's 175 metres top to bottom. Average lap speed here is 180 kilometres an hour. It's one of the fastest circuits in Australia.
Plenty of track action, and there's been intrigue and controversy starting off in the practice sessions.
Big contact there with Max Twigg and Kiwi racer Kent Bagent. And a crash at the chase. Bagent was taken to hospital for precautionary checks. He's okay. Big crash for the number 94 Mark Carr's Australia entry. Zane Goddard was behind the wheel. This is probably the moment of the weekend so far. Will Davison, 200 k's an hour. McPhillamy Park, 720 degrees, selects first gear, drives off.
Then Lee Holdsworth hooks the curb coming through Griffin's Bend and puts the 9 Hallmark Audi into the wall. Incredibly, that car is going to start the motor race.
The Bentleys looked strong after a late arrival to Mount Panorama. They pushed hard in the shootout. So too the Audis, who are looking ferocious this weekend. But the story of the Top 10 shootout, as it built and built towards a pretty epic conclusion, was a battle between BMW and Audi. Matt Campbell pushed hard for Porsche. Unfortunately, that cost him lap time and he ended up down the road. Scott McLaughlin made good improvements in the Opticoat McLaren and ended up 5th. But it was this lap from Chaz Mostert. For the first time in 31 years, BMW team Schnitzer here at the mountain, and his lap was good enough for pole. Kelvin van der Linde got so close, the margin 0.2 of a second, but in the end, BMW on pole on the mountain, the first time since 2007.
Car early too. Philip Eng did the qualifying lap. Ultimately, that was taken away from him, but he did that on his first flying lap on the Pirellis.
Right, here's how the race is going to play out. There'll be between 10 to 12 stops throughout the day. The fuel window 30 to 35. Safety cars. Australia's international endurance race will commence.
White, bright headlights bringing the field down through Maguire's and down towards a green flag, which is waving, and we are now under green flag conditions as we start the second lap. Just under 11 hours and 55 minutes to go. It's absolutely side by side, and the pole sitting BMW is going to have to tough it out on the inside, and does so. So that worked, at least for the pole sitter. Everybody through Porsche, corner, and heading up the Audi mountain straight towards Griffin's Bend for the first time. What a fantastic sight and sound. It's sensual overload on the mountain.
It's the most perilous lap of the entire motor race. It's dark. They've never driven in the night before this point in the motor race. So they're feeling their way around. They're still 2x2 as they run up to Griffin's Bend. Now they start to reach single file, which they need to do before they get to the Audi cutting. On-board pictures throughout the field today. This is a Mercedes AMG GT3 as it runs up the hill. Audi in front, looking to the outside. Bold manoeuvre early in the motor race.
David Reynolds trying to get round up the Audi, cutting and pushing his luck just a little bit there. Green flags waving around the circuit. So oh, was that a yellow?
That was a safety car. We're showing yellow on the timing monitor and safety car boards and flags. So the race has been neutralised almost immediately.
Oh dear. Someone has dropped it early on in the lap. And the Mercedes,
the South Australian John behind the wheel, very experienced driver in one-make Porsche racing.
Just about to come over the rise. Oh, he's gone backwards. You can see on the left-hand side, hazard flashes are on. I thought, you know, I saw that as they were coming down. I thought that was a course vehicle. So our friends at Natsoft are bringing us more information than we've ever had. Come back to the restart. He gets a little bit of jump on Fred Verveek's behind him. He's got a little bit of a breathing space. That's a super restart by the Schnitzer BMW. 1, 2, 2.5, maybe more cars left as he heads down to Porsche. Hell's Corner for the restart. The battle is going to be Grillsy for third position, heading up Audi Mountain Straight.
And nicely judged restart for Chaz Mostert, just timed it perfectly. The moment the safety car accelerates away from the field, it's up to Chaz Mostert to pace them, and he can dictate where he decides to push the go button. He pushed it hard, the BMW went indeed as we look for a move up the inside now. Audi R8 up the inside of Luke Yulden, that's Christopher Haase gets it done. Yulden, who was a star in the shootout yesterday, amazing performance to elevate the Ben Motorsport Park Lambo up into the top 5. Drops back a spot. The Audi charges forward.
Brave stuff by Chris Haase. That, to me, Johnny Palmer, says that he feels he's got a car that he's very comfortable with underneath him.
Although, you know, Yulden out of the first corner, that drag up the hill from the relatively old-shaped Lamborghini Gallardo is impressive. Remember, Yulden in qualifying in the top 10 shootout was by far the fastest car through Sector 1, so it likes to climb up the hill. Not so good across the top, but let's see how long Luke Yulden in the treble 7 car can stay there. As we say, he's dropped to 4th position now with Chris Haase on a bit of a charge in the second of the Audis.
Christian Vautier in the 75. That's the Mercedes AMG GT3, looking a little bit anxious to get by as they came down through the Shannon's dimmer and dropping down through what is almost like falling off the end of the world down there.
Chaz Mostert, remember last year, started the WM Waste car that he drove in the race. That was also a BMW M6 GT3. So he knows about these cars at this place. He's been racing them in the Asian Le Mans series as well. He switched onto the car, he switched onto the racetrack, of course. A very good opening lap under very, very good drivers. They're looking really strong.
2 cars that were out of position at the back of the grid. The number 100 BMW, Timo Glock, now up to 36th position. And the 6th Lamborghini with David Wall at the wheel. They had to do an engine change. They're up to 38th position.
On board with a McLaren. It's the 58 car. So these 2 cars had a reasonably slow start to their weekend, but they built up to it and got both.
For the 15th place with Lawrence Vantour.
And it's Ferminelli under pressure now. Sparks flying as they hit the dip halfway up Mountain Straight, Audi Mountain Straight this weekend through of the Mount Panorama circuit.
So this is on board. Com Ledegaard just getting a mouthful of those from Ferminelli.
Is the 7th lap, and we got a gap now of 8 seconds between Chaz Mostert and Car even in the race. David Wall up to 37th now. But look at Chaz Mostert. It's like he's doing his own little test session here. Stepping away, the gap's very nearly 10 seconds back to Christopher Haase, and that gap, as John says, is
well over 9 seconds now, and a 2:01.95 last time around. I mean, a 2:03.5 for Haase. Haase will be looking at his splits and thinking, yeah, that's all right, but he's still losing time. Ben Barker in the lane for that drive-through on the radio button as well on the Grove Port.
The Generation 1 Conti GT3. This is lapped traffic already. We're on lap 9 of somewhere around, we hope, 300 today. Chaz Mostert goes past the safety stop Porsche. So here's how they run. 10 laps into the Liqui-Moly Bathurst, 12 out. BMW in front, the Audi's hunting.
Grillsy, not just the ultimate driving machine, it was an absolute perfect representation of a car that didn't look fast, that was going fast.
Yeah, it's the unspectacular laps are always the quickest, aren't they?
Well, apart from Van Gisbergen.
Yeah, it's just spectacular all the time. It was a great lap, really.
This Class I Racer Industries machine is being pushed back into the garage. It can't be driven in even if it had power from the V8, but there's something awry with another one of the...
Jordan as well for a while there, just got that curb on the inside at Griffin's Bend, unsettled the car, had the slide to corner exit. This is what it looked and what it sounded like from on board.
He's all right as he goes in. And you heard the car unload that as the Pirelli tyres.
Yeah, that was that.
I think that might have been the driver as well as the engine just revving themselves up as the Pirelli tyres was on the right rear was just unloaded enough to get airborne. Now he makes the pass down by... Not very many people make a pass on Jerome Blake more than that easily. That shows you the performance.
Past an experienced German who, of course, was here last year, remember, in a BMW driving an all-star team.
No, not from there, surely. That's a long way back into Griffin Bend.
No problems. Textbook stuff.
Well, and fair play.
Porsche, this is just smart motor racing. He's using the inherent...
Momentarily behind one of the Ginetta Australia. In the classes, Camilleri is leading the Invitational, the Racer Industries Class I, and he is up into 29th position.
Super combination. With sponsorship from the Bend Motorsport Park, Yasser Shahin puts this together as the sparks fly, and he looks to run one up the outside of Fred Vavish up at turn 2, but won't do it that time. The Audi defends. Remember, these cars based on a similar architecture. He gets a good run out of turn 2. You're brave to go around the outside of the kick, but he's going to try it anyway. Luke Gilden throwing him.
Out of the left-hand side, it is a left hooker, that car, and pointing to the right-hand side. I've never seen that done before. Seen it inside the car, you do it, and point. Oh, there's a little touch there. Coming through Maguire's in this battle for third position overall. Big defensive move by Vavish as he goes to driver's left. And here comes the Lambo, powering through on the outside. They get side by side into Porsche Hell's corner. But you can't do that round the outside there unless you get some help from the car you're passing. And Vavish is not being helpful at the moment. Gilden tries to go up the left-hand side again. This side by side, he's going to have to go Buffalo Gals round the outside. He does it. Now can he defend there? Vavish is battling for third position, but Gilden goes through, and the Lambo is up into third.
Great battle. I don't understand.
Oh, problem for one of the Class B Porsches. It's the 23 car that's in trouble. Team Carrera Cup Asia.
Class leader.
Yeah, it was. Kiwi Chris van der Drift, the reigning Porsche.
He's had a spin. Has he had a spin?
Oh, wow.
He has had a spin, because that's the only thing I can think of bringing the windscreen shield off it.
Well, if you're going to do it just before pit entry.
True.
Yeah,
Even further.
How's the collection of assembled motor racing talent in that Boost Mobile battle pack? Can we just touch on the fact that that group of drivers is all together at this motor race, and they're all squabbling over a position that's not even in the top 10?
Correct.
That's outstanding. We're going to see more of that today.
Good run for both of the Straka at the circuit, at the cutting, so then through up to BP Ultimate Reed Park, which is getting a little bit of sunshine on that bright fluorescent.
To Luke Gilden last time around, clearly had some traffic. Here goes Watson. Good run out of the Bentley elbow in the Toad. The McLaren generally a couple of Ks an hour quicker than the Audi R8 in the straight line. And discretion the better part of Valor to go side by side through the fastest.
Racer Industries machine.
Caught behind the defending champions in the Boost Mobile GT4 class. Of course, the other thing they need to deal with now is right there, as the McLaren takes the evasive action over the run-off road at Brock Skyline, is they're now driving directly into the sun. Sun is rising. It's going to be a beautiful day, and we're almost exactly 1 hour into the 2018 Liqui-Moly Bathurst 12-hour BMW to the fore by almost 40 seconds.
Oh, magnificent time of day. Odd wispy clouds above us here at Bathurst as we continue our flag-to-flag coverage. Has the audio feed as well. Still battling going on in the 18. Bentley's under pressure here. Abril, in fact, was headed by the Lambo last time around.
Beautiful scenes at Mount Panorama. We're 25 laps into the Liqui-Moly Bathurst 12-hour. You're live on 7.
Monty 911 car was an issue. Dirk Werner keeping the performance cards close to the chest at the moment, let's say, down in 22nd position in the early running. Very early running, with still just under or something like that.
Oh no, dramas.
777.
Key contender with damage in the left rear corner.
From third, Krilsey, he's hit something.
So Luke Gilden behind the wheel was catching Christopher Haase slightly, but catching him nonetheless.
Doing is very, very good indeed in getting it back.
Sorted, but
still on the green, Krilsey.
Oh yeah, no safety car required for that, as long as he can limp it back. So this is it, running up to Griffin's Bend. Was there contact?
Contact with the 40.
There must have been. So
wheel damage, and that appears to be what's happened. You don't need to be a detective to look at left rear damage on the 777 and right rear damage on the Porsche to put two.
New tyre going on, a little bit of damage to the rear of the front stem. That's not as
that's a front wheel
designed it. Yep.
Yeah.
Lamborghini indicating that just a side-to-side contact, very, very slight.
Where the driver gets in and out, it's got the whole of the front clamshell that pops up.
Very slowly. Why was there that kerfuffle? Because that was awfully busy and it's still going on. And as Laurent Vanthoor looks down the inside and gets the job done. So that's a change of position, and the number 18 Bentley does pit. So diving across to the left of the pit entry. This is busy. Vanthoor caught up in the middle here. Oh, wow, 3 wide.
Audi Mountain Straight is just 3 GT3 cars wide. We've just found that out.
Maxi Book knows what it's like to be on the outside at turn 2. That's where he tried to pass Craig Lowndes. Now Boaty on the inside. Contact between the two AMGs. Is there any damage to Maxi Book's car? That was unnecessary.
Yeah, Ben Barker did it
at the time.
Well, it sort of bounced off the tyre belt there, and obviously you get a cushion effect, so hopefully it would have bent some of the body.
All started back at the first corner, Porsche Hell's corner. The place was lost, and then a little bit of a bump and run as they went either side of the yellow and green Ben Barker B-Class Porsche.
Well, that actually all started on the run out of Conrod Straight before pit entry, because the Bentley was trying to get out of the way. So that's what checked them all up.
Oh, man.
And Faultier dived up the inside thinking he had an opportunity to get by. Maxi Book shut the door. Ben Barker was doing the right thing, trying to get across out of the way, get across to driver's left, but what he didn't know was that there was another AMG there.
Nah, Faultier should not have been sticking his nose in there. He actually had to ride the curb. Liqui-Moly Bathurst 12 hours with the leader, Chaz Mostert, coming into the pit lane. It's been a great run for him in the early morning here on the Mount.
Whatsoever. 2 starts to the race, effectively, for Chaz. Tremendous race. Anyway, the last thing we want to see is 2 of them.
The number 100 BMW, Timo Glock been working the brakes hard on that car. Bentley team pits car number 17. A very strong opening stint from Bauthier, fuel going in. So pit stop regulations are that you can only do...
It was 40 seconds. We'll wait to see what the difference is between his car and David Fuminelli in the 55.
And driver change for this team. So
trailer to get some donor parts off this car. So the
Watson had done the opening stint.
Or belts, maybe.
Or something.
It's Marcus Winkelhock who got in 74, and that was close. The WRT.
Trofeo Motorsport Lamborghini Huracan is in the lane, getting its surface. It's had the fuel, and now it's getting a new set of Pirelli tyres. Oh, KTM off at the Bentley elbow, and it's the 48 car. And that's a big accident for the M Motorsport machine. And that's going to bring out the AMG E63 S sedan. It's never a good day when part of your car is doing a different lap time from torn off. And now, did he get help, or was that always all of his own accord? In coming down the hill to start with, hits left-hand side, damage to both left-hand side wheels early, and I think he's taken it at least a couple of hits before he cut one side or the other before he even got down to the elbow.
It's David Crampton.
Turn the car around. Second damage to the front wishbones of severe damage.
Leading Class B, the number 4 car from Brenton Grove, Grove Motorsport. Brenton Grove is now in the chair, just ahead of number 20.
FSL_studio, and remember, you can take the audio with you if you're running out of bandwidth or you want to Bluetooth your smart device to the car.
Start lap 42. Pretty interesting number in the eternal search for life of the universe and everything in motor racing, which we try and answer those questions. Away we go. Mercedes wide. Everyone's scrambling to get past the lap cars behind and watch and wait for an Audi, headlights ablaze, with a fired up young German driver behind the wheel to come through. There is Marcus Winkelhock. Actually, that's not the WRT cars. There's Winkelhock now.
You were right, it's 10 cars back, so there were 9 between Mostert and Marcus Winkelhock, and he's already started to side his way through the order. Had to wait for the line, remember, Ben Barker's number 4 car. It's actually Grove now at the wheel of that, though. And, yeah, the patience game needing to be played here by Marcus Winkelhock. He's been racing GT3 cars for so many seasons. Just needs to bide his time a little bit and wait for the gap in the traffic.
Or to get past the BMW through the kink is brave, and we've talked about it already today, and we've seen the after effects of just having patience. He now clears the American entered car, which has run out of the Mark Cars Australia stable, one of our Boost Mobile GT4 category contenders this weekend. Now he looks to go past the Lamborghini at the metal grate. Wheels on the dust, he's aggressive. He's trying to hustle and get this margin down the inside. That's big. That's enormous. Marcus Winkelhock down the inside of the Lamborghini, puts it a lap down. Roger Largo back a spot at one of the fastest, blindest points of the racetrack.
The reborn number 88, Janetta G55. Joe Robertson behind the wheel. Joe Hobson behind the wheel, excuse me, is the next car on the target list for Marcus Winkelhock as they come out the Bentley elbow. Big flash on the headlamp. 10 and was waiting for the 43 car, and there was 6 or 7 cars that had to be waved by there whilst it was waiting to pick up the leader, and that's the only time that you'll see that happen. Oh, and there's been a big shunt right at the top of the mountain, and that's the Hallmark car. The Hallmark Audi's involved. The number 9 car that's been rebuilt, and one of the Mark II cars, the 67 as well. But there's another car to driver's left, round about McPhillamy.
There's 2 R8s involved.
Reese has gone through sector 2.
Paul Dall'Anna in pit lane, so maybe it was the Hallmark car. Oh, it was. You were right. My apologies. Yeah. So for the second time this weekend, what's in front though?
82, 58 car of Comlader Garn. It was in the background.
Oh, it just clipped the wall. The first car clipped the wall and then went across, and it's in the ensuing melee with people checking up. And there's a third Audi R8, I think, that also clipped the wall. So, wow, that's a big lick on its own for the first of the Audis. It spears across the track. It doesn't get picked up by anybody else. Great driving. The Mustang hits the back. Kit got the opportunity a couple of seasons ago, a bit more now, to drive that leads. Chaz Mostard's going to have to do the restart when we come back to the mountain. Under green, it can happen under yellow as well. Drama for the number 18 Bentley. Vincent Abril behind the wheel of the classic British mark at the Continental. Just not liking this slow running lane. The 1/8 Bentley with the car number sprayed in splash here. Start the engine and fire it. He's losing a bit more time than perhaps he really wanted to.
Bentley crew doing an excellent job to get the cars ready to go out on track. And every year that they've run here, it seems that one car flourishes while the other has issues.
So the Bentley gearbox unit being serviced by the M Sport, and the legend that is Craig Lowndes has been installed in the number 58 YNA Autosport McLaren 650.
7 car is in. Now this has already got 1 extra stop under its belt.
In Dumas, he was in that bright yellow Mante Racing Porsche. He is one of the most successful drivers.
The Edmonds to the pit lane, comes down to the final corner, and after a lengthy yellow flag period, we are back under green. We're racing on the mountain for the 2018 Liqui-Moly Bathurst 12 Hours, and another textbook restart as the BMW, which has been the car to beat in the opening couple of hours, is already stamping authority back on the front of the field.
Yeah, and in his sights, so at least he's not buried 10 cars down the train like he was last time. He's got an opportunity to follow him around. The field's spread out, isn't it? As the Class A cars work their way through lap traffic, which is probably a good thing because it might just reduce the calamity factor.
Tortured sound of the Porsche Flat 6 getting a run. This is Vantor on Vantor, filial battle here, side by side. And it's the Porsche that has the ponies on the outside though, coming into the Boost Mobile chase, and does make the pass.
Bit of an assist, I think, from the Largo Lamborghini in front. A little bit of a helping hand from a tow from the third for everyone over the course of the day. So that's the kind of thing that when you work backwards from hour 11, you want to get to that final hour of the race. All of a sudden, that gives them a big advantage.
I'd misidentified the Audi 37. It's actually the 39 car of Paul Dalla Lana carrying damage on the front right corner, and that's the car that smokes along Mountain Straight. Yeah, it is.
It's tyre rub from the damage. A bit of gaffer tape on there is possibly not the most aerodynamic fix that could have been done, and it's just pushing back onto the front
Safety car, bang, straight up to speed. The Audis have got nothing for him at the moment.
I think Paul Dalla Lana is going to have to pit because the flat plane at the bottom of the front splitter is banging around.
At the end of this one, nearly 10 seconds is the margin again over Marcus Winkelhock.
But this is being compromised by some families. Thank goodness it's all on the computer then as well. And don't forget, if you need to step away from your broadband, take some mobile data with you and listen to the audio on RS1 on the Radio LeMans.com player. One of 3 channels bringing you the best of endurance racing from around the world. 3 24/7 channels. And our next broadcast in a couple of weeks is a 24-hour race from Silverstone. Many similar cars to what we're seeing here. Very different circuits. A bit flatter, a bit more wide open. Busy season for endurance racing. A lot of these drivers will be talking about throughout the rest of the year, and I'll tell you, they've got
Change for 4th position, by the way, now, because Laurent Vantor now ahead of the Bentley. At least that's the case coming back.
World famous wines. Sample some of those later on tonight to fix my voice. We welcome you back to Mount Panorama for the Liqui-Moly Bathurst 12-hour, just 9 hours and 21 minutes to go in an absorbing motor race that's being dominated at the moment by the BMW Team Schnitzer number 43 entry with Chaz Mostert behind the wheel. He leads Marcus Winkelhock by 8.5 seconds with Frederick Vervisch, his teammate, just a little bit further back. There are, however, as the Dodge Viper has a little bit of a moment, some evolving stories throughout this motor race, including this battle we're watching between the number 100 BMW driven by Stephen Richards. In front of him is the number 58 McLaren driven by Craig Lowndes. Later in the year, these two will join forces in the Supercar Enduros.
that could get awkward.
Top 4 now, so you know, we're trucking along not too bad. Now we're just going to keep surviving, try peg back that BMW at the front. That's going to be a tough challenge though.
It's great to see Craft Bamboo back in Australia. Very passionate team boss as well. Daryl Young, a 2-time winner of this race.
How could I possibly forget that?
It's early. This is just
Brilliant.
isn't it? Some say brilliant, some say hairy. For Laurent Vantor, it's a combination of all of them. I think that was really close. That was really close.
What a superstar Lawrence Vantor is, though, having made that move on Guy Smith for 4th position. So the Bentley slipped to 5th, and now Vantor has locked the crosshair on the back of Frederick Vervisch. And we've said the Porsches have been struggling for speed this weekend in the sessions leading to qualifying. They were nowhere in qualifying, or at least the 991 and the 911 car.
We ride with Laurent Vantor. First the Ginetta, had to get out of it, had to use all of the curb at the hump there on the rise up towards BP Reed Park. Hesitating, still hesitating, goes around the outside. No, he doesn't. Still has to be patient. Now he's sick of it, uses the extra acceleration of the GT3 car to get rid of the Ginetta. And he's so much faster mid-corner, there might have been half a paper width between himself and that BMW, but not much more. Precision driving from this world-class Belgian race car driver who's been on the podium here before, who's been on pole position here before when he was
So early a start. Well, why not, for one thing, as the leader is passing through. That's the Grove Porsche, the yellow and green car. Ben Barker was in that car earlier on. That dropped down a little bit after an infringement for them. 5:45 local start is the only way that we can get 12 hours in to the TV window. I was watching on the telly here this Sunday, revel in it, and every other sports car
kicks up some dust at the back. Meanwhile, in the Bentley, with the gearbox change underway, just having a brief nap. Grab 30 winks while they repair the car.
And nap, he's focusing.
That is absolutely a nap.
Well, he's missed Guy Smith, losing another position now, because Dries Vantor's up to 5th place. The Vantor brothers doing particularly well in their Porsche and Audis respectively. So now 4th place, we know all about Lawrence Vantor, the 991 car. Here he is, stuck in a load of traffic once again. Dries Vantor might actually be able to catch him up, but Vantor makes a move for 3rd position there because Fred Verviche was just to his right. In fact, we're on board now with the Verviche car, and Lawrence Vantor flashing the headlights from car 991 is into 3rd position and narrowly squeezes up the inside of one of the Gen 1 Mark cars.
Do you get the impression that whatever fuel saving was going on earlier in the Porsches is not now? They're on full military settings. This is awesome stuff. Mostert still leading. Winkelhoff holding the lead to 9 seconds. Then a further 17 seconds back is the 991 in 3rd position of Lawrence Vantor.
Epic stuff from Lawrence Vantor, and the 22 Fred Verviche cars now going to have to keep his eyes peeled for younger brother Dries in the number 37 car. Don't forget the 56 Mercedes tucked in behind Fred Verviche is at least a lap down. That's the for
Andrew Backnell, so we're taken by air ambulance to Westmead Hospital.
Stephen Grove.
Call the safety car.
Porsche in the gravel at Porsche corner, right in front of the Corbett Hospitality. Safety car on stand, the Porsche B-Class.
He's down at Maguire's turn.
Oh, excuse me.
Murray's corner. So braking zone at the end of Conrad. Ironically, going down the inside of their main rival in Class B, the Porsche Carrera Cup Asia, number 23 entry. Little bit too deep, under brakes, number 4 car. And he's gone. So we have gone safety car, but it'll be a real brief one.
Yeah. Yep, all 3 drivers have had a go in that Porsche now. So Ben Barker started it. We had Brenton Grove do the middle stint, Stephen Grove with that very slight error just coming into Maguire's going to lose it again. Going to lose it again at turn number 1. You preempted that moment, John Hindhaugh.
Any second now, I'll say something for about another 3 hours along. Let's go down to Chad for an update from the lane.
Well, this will surely bring the leaders in, guys, because they're at the maximum driving time just about. You're not allowed to drive longer than 3 hours consecutively. And those who started the race, including Chaz Mostert, have driven for
because they couldn't have timed that safety car better.
It's a free stop,
Yeah.
So annoyed that Mostert with a phenomenal opening stint. He brings in the Schnitzer BMW to its marks. Perfectly done.
That was Tony Verlander-like from last year, where Tony blew the race apart in the middle stanza by lapping consistently way faster than anybody else. He has done the same. And there's no reason to expect he won't be just as quick, going very slowly as the BP Ultimate BMW. The second
fence, I think.
Sister car to the Laser BMW in BMW Team SRM camp. That has been in the fence and it's been in hard. The right front's gone for a wander. Checking out Bathurst Goldfields up there.
And the fuel cap's open as well. Maybe an indication of quite how hard it went in. And there's the wheel that's detached from the front right corner.
Quite
that
a
BMW.
To do. Wittmann behind the wheel of the 43 now. And the incident for... It's once again at the Bentley elbow. And once again...
Pulling over to the right-hand side. The wheel's still not rolling. Stop rolling yet. All the way down Conrod Straight it goes. Massively buckled. Thankfully off the track at the moment.
At the moment. And the Icebreak Coffee Bridge. As the cars are coming down, yellow flags are out. It's back on the track.
It's like a rugby ball, isn't it? It's that dishevelled and no predicting which way it's going to go next.
A report to the M Sport crew, and the wheel still has a bit of energy in it. Just falls over.
It had the long distance down Con. And recovery crews will be very close indeed to give him the treatment he requires, but at least he's out of the car now, just being given a moment of...
Netta in, and 47 in again. Now, these are the guys who are working these safety cars, I think, interestingly. The 47 back in. This is the YNA Autosport car, not that far.
It was already, you could see the sun was coming up, but it was a bit tricky when the sun was on a difficult point, so we had to put the visor down, and yeah, it was not that easy, but you know, it was good fun.
Job's not done yet for the 37 Audi. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Shay. And yeah, that car has been in contention in the top 10 for most of it. We're back to racing. Tim Slade in the Objective Racing McLaren 650 SGT3 leads the field back to green. Chasing him down, dual DTM champion Marco Wittmann in that BMW Team Schnitzer entry. So now, let's see what car 43's got in the hands of a different driver. It's a bit busy down the bottom there at Porsche Hill Corner, named so for a reason, but it looks like everyone's got through at this point as they run up the Audi Mountain Straight. So really nicely judged restart again for Tim Slade. Of course, his career in supercars make a habit of getting good restarts in a lot of those races.
And the second BMW gentleman now in the... And chasing down Lounsey, Slade, Wittmann, Lowndes, Richard, Calvert-Jones, Mies, Leonard, Habul, Van der Linde, Estra for your top 10.
And Mies up the inside of Calvert-Jones at McPhillamy Park and gets through, so that puts the Icebreak Porsche back in your favour. So a car that started 49th, they elected to stay out. They've got track position, so they're back in the game. And they're now running pit forward with very experienced Stephen Richards behind the wheel. So this is great stuff, because it's just getting cars back into the race that weren't in it early on in the day, and that's what...
Still losing time, but they'll want to get that car back out on the track. It is a never say die attitude, with still just under 9 hours to go. We've got 3/4 of this race left yet.
Great movement here from Kelvin van der Linde. That's 2 places gained in the space of a couple of corners, because he was able to duck by Stuart Leonard at the Bentley elbow, and then heading into the Boost Mobile chase on the exit. And he is at the wheel of the car.
Touch on the wall for the 75 Sun Energy 1 AMG, the Mercedes AMG GT3.
Kenny Habul still at the wheel.
In the top 10.
Yeah, just got out onto the marbles, didn't he? Into the cutting there, and the car shoulder barged Maxi Book out the way into the cutting towards the start of the race.
Oh, dramas for Dylan O'Keefe.
Now that is turn 1, Porsche turn 1, and the sand pit has been dragged onto the circuit as...
turn 1.
With a wheel off. So we've just caught the end of this down at Porsche Hill Corner. Oh, wow.
Wow,
so
he just went straight on. Look at the marks in the gravel there.
Giving that a fair old belt too. So the Audi parked into the Porsche fence.
And look...
As that wheel was getting closer and closer to the grass. And
for the Sun Energy 1 Racing Mercedes AMG GT3. So a driver change will go on. The driver combinations in this, CJ, of course, who's been here multiple times now, started out in Class B.
Again, just putting 2 and 2 together and making 5. A very
65. They actually had to change pit booms at the very last second, so there was a problem with the 56 pit boom that they've been using with the Burt Gertz and Parent car. They've had to wheel it back, so they lost a lot of pit time in that process. And then the spike wouldn't go in when they changed pit booms. So we saw them actually change pit box, change equipment, and they've just got him back out before the leaders are about to take this restart. That was key.
Must be something to do with Chad today. I've got his name wrong twice now, and they tried to change his gender there as well. Sorry, Chad. We come back to the green flag, and it's Tim Slade who leads from Marco Wittmann. They are line astern. That's the top 2 going into the first corner. Then Craig Lowndes, he's third, and he's third in line as well. This is a real battle you're looking at going up Audi Mountain Straight as we are racing again on lap number 72. And this is, I think, a better restart that there are fewer lap cars in the lead group, as the objective McLaren takes the opportunity to lead the field and powering over the McLaren of Tim Slade, which is cutting through the air as it heads up the hill through the Audi Sport cutting. And another problem at the final corner, and another wheel making its bid for freedom. That's the Daytona Coupe that's in strife this time around, and it's a right front wheel and tyre combo that is heading down already into the braking area for Porsche Hell's Corner. The rest of the car, sadly, is down by the start-finish line.
Got turned around.
Slightly better news for the racer industry Class I machines. In the background gets, the wheel was coming off, so that was a loose wheel getting rather too loose.
It's another stop.
25 laps under his belt already for Lounsey. That seems to have...
Well, on that bombshell, we're going to jump away for a quick commercial break while we're under safety car and process that news. You're live at Mount Panorama, Liqui-Moly 12 Hour.
Out, and the 4-litre V8 bi-turbo engine of the AMG E63S has pulled it away from the field, which will come back to green flag in the hands of Tim Slade. Wittmann is holding in the white, mainly white BMW, just in behind that dark-coloured leading car. Then the second of the BMWs with the BP Ultimate colours as they've gone to full rich, full fat and full speed racing across the green flag. We're going down towards the first corner. Already the Viper getting racing behind. That's a quick car in a straight line trying to get some real estate back. But a great restart again by the man at the front of the field, Richard Creel.
Well, if the Viper can stay there, it might end up passing some of these cars when they get to Conrod next time around, because it's miles quicker than them in a straight line. Defending on the run up to turn 2. Well, there it goes.
Go when they unleash the power. Stays to the left-hand side, and there might be an opportunity for Stuart Leonard in the Audi to get through. Well, let's see. Let's see the power here, Creelsy. Who's your money on?
I'm not convinced they might. See, he's disappeared down the road. See ya, mate.
Bentley. The Bentley coming through as well. This is the 17 of Stephen Kane. Remember, the 18 car's had a gearbox change, and that car's been much delayed, and that's a change of position.
Good move, though. Fred McAwicky goes through. Bentley just lost a little bit of track position there. McAwicky just got on BMW. Because remember, this car
was the right restart.
Well, yeah, but because this car wasn't leading, remember, because the objective car didn't stop. So they were the lead.
V8 Mazda ahead.
So he was caught up behind those lap cars. He just went too early. Yep, you've got to remain formation, and he was alongside before he got to the control line there. Yep, that's fair.
Yeah, and I think the lift-off tells you he knew it. I think we've just had someone in the gravel at the end of the Boost Mobile chase as well. Big cloud of dust just firing across the
car. The guys at Objective Racing have told Tim about this penalty for Marco Wittmann, because they could allow him to go effectively. Oh, spin for the 23 Porsche from Class B. That was
the Carrera Cup Asia car.
Second place in the class, and that's at the Bentley elbow once again.
It's fired. The flat 6 is running, and he just about gets out. The beer tap on the wall. Oh, now did he get help there from somebody, because he was put
combination set up by Paul Tressider, who races up in that championship, Sydney-based businessman and race
of that BMW. If what we see this morning can be carried through into the warmer parts of this race, then everybody should be scratching their heads. Not sure why the McLaren has the wiper going there. Which button is it? How do I turn it off? That's the one of the
Scotty Lofty
car. Yeah, is it Scotty? Yeah.
Yep.
47 car.
Remember, they dropped a bunch of laps, so they've recovered a few positions over the 22nd. Spent quite some time in pit lane.
Well, trying to stay out of the way across the top of the mountain, but not exactly going to ease back down the straights. This is the fun bit.
It's going to eat that car ahead of it, isn't it? Fantastic stuff.
He's done the gentlemanly thing there, and I think Adam Macro's had a big lift. The Lambo is quick in a straight line.
In the pit lane for the penalty on the restart, overlapping before the timing line. The 43 drops out of second place, Marco Wittmann. It's just a drive-through, and that means the 100 BMW, similar car, Steve Richards, from second last to second.
23 for Team Carrera Cup Asia. We can see them trying to put it back together at the moment. Paul, what do you know about what's happened to it there?
Well, I just saw a little bit of it on the television, and it looked like it's either backed into the wall himself or got hit. I didn't see I saw the end of it, I didn't see the start of it. So the back suspension looks like it's gone, and the rear wing, we need to replace that too, so there's a bit of work to do.
And very quickly, it's the first time Team Carrera Cup Asia has sent a team over here. Why is that? Obviously, I hear...
As we go through, Johnny Palmer watching those battles down through the field. What you got, Johnny?
Yeah, the Class B division at the moment has the 85 car at the head of the order, so that's the Charlie Putman machine.
All-American team.
Yeah, Porsche 911 GT3 Cup car, as they all are in that division, and the 21 car is in second place, so that looks fourth at the wheel of that. In this Class C division, the bright orange BMW, number 30, which is the Boatworks racing car, with Aaron Seaton still at the wheel. Matthew Bradman's had a spell driving that BMW as well, but it's all action still at the front, John.
Fred McAwicky just taking a position there and getting very close to taking out the car. He was passing at the same time, and also into the pit lane, Tim Slade for Objective Racing McLaren. And that means that Steve Richards in the number 100 BMW is leading the motor race, but only by 0.2 of a second. Chris Meese is right on the tailpipes of the Bimmer as they head up through Griffin's Bend and towards the Audi cutting. Now let's see how quickly Objective guys can turn around the number 11 car. That's been a good run from Slade. They played the long game. They will drop down here. But having led the motor race, I reckon that was a reasonable thing to do to keep hold of track position, because of course if there'd been a yellow flag on any one of those restarts, they would have been in much better shape.
Stephen Kane's
Porsche in 4th position, Bentley in 5th. And Bentley in... Oh, that's the 18. It's the other... Bentley has just gone off, Maxime Soulet.
It'll be a safety car, though.
Now, is this a... Oh, right front puncture on that car.
Wow.
In the chase, the Boost Mobile chase, and brilliant driving from Maxime Soulet. Let's go at a most inopportune moment into the right-hander. Bang! And he's fighting. How does he not pick up the 2 cars ahead? It's not been the 18 cars day. The Bentley bad luck has struck again, and we've got a safety car with just over 8 hours remaining.
Every year it's been the 18 car. It's been the second car that's had all kinds of dramas. Stephen Kane running 5th in car 7.
box, and Bentleys, I think, love Bathurst City Centre, because a couple of days ago we nearly lost Stephen Kane down the escape road in the 17 car, and now the 18's gone virtually straight on at the Boost Mobile chase. All 3 leaders in on the same lap, so the race around this amazing circuit's now going to continue in the pit lane.
And Kevin Estra in as well in the 991 Porsche.
Smart.
So the top 4 cars are all in pit lane. It wouldn't surprise me if the Bentley dives in as well. No, it doesn't. It stays out. So they go get track position. But what this does now is cleanses the strategy for car 100. So they're now on a level pegging with everyone else. The same fuel, similar sort of strategies. Fred Makawicki is in the number 911 Porsche. Mark Lieb in 2 in the 540, the Black Swan racing car out of the United States. And there's the Craft Bamboo Racing entry.
For the Craft Bamboo car, it was not a driver change, but they did add some dry ice for the sister car, the number 911 Porsche. It will be a driver change. Romain Dumas getting behind the wheel of that car for the first laps ever for him racing around Mount Panorama. The 22 Audi is in getting fuel and tires, and Garth Tander in for Kelvin van der Linde. And the 74 came in, is behind the wheel of that one. The 540, the Black Swan Racing Porsche, is the other car that is still on the pit lane receiving service. That is fuel only for Mark Lieb.
Great work by the pit crew, local council, everyone down in town as well. Strife under yellow for Max Twigg behind the wheel of Scott Taylor Motorsport, Mercedes AMG GT3. That car's come to a halt as the field is
Pace 21 laps per hour. We were all talking about a potential race record off the back of Daytona smashing theirs a week ago. I'd hate to say it, Krause, but we're on track for a measly 255.
To just get the car stopped. A huge gravel trap there as well. But 2 GT3 cars immediately in front of him that have been holding their breath.
Bentley, the Empire striking back here for the British mark as he heads through the final corner and to the green flag. But what a great run through there for the Lambo behind him. That's not the car he really has to worry about, because next back is Pat Long in the Porsche. So there's cars between Stephen Kane and the second place machine. Wait for the Porsche. Wait, there it is. 1, 2, 3, 4 cars behind. Now, Stephen, what do you do here? Do you let the Lambo go through? The Largo car's been very, very quick indeed. Goes to the outside, flashing the lights, trying to get a lap back from the leader. Surely the M-Sport guys are saying to him, listen, don't put yourself in the wall fighting this Lambo. He's a couple of laps back.
They're only a lap off the lead, the JBS Racing team, so they desperately need to get this back. It's very important for David Russell to get past the Bentley. And then when we next have a safety car, which we hope isn't for a little while, they'll be able to catch back up to the lead lap queue and get themselves back into contention.
Just seems like the top now. Pat Long is closing in behind, but still with cars between them. The Icebreak Porsche flashes through the top of the mountain. Then Mark Whitman, Lounsey looking like he's making a move as well. He was right on the tail of the 43 BMW. That drive-through now being completely nullified.
Continue to work their way to the front of the field this weekend. David Russell applying the pressure. He said, lap behind.
Restart breach. A reminder, you cannot...
Just hearing communication from race control. Restart breaches have been the topic of the day.
The grey and red machine, just one lap off the lead. Sitting in 17th position, is the first car off the lead lap, I reckon.
Yeah, well, all these safety cars have just kept everyone in the game. Everyone's in the mix. We don't have that opportunity to drop off the lead lap.
Here's the battle for second. Pat Long, Marco Wittmann, and Craig Lowndes about to get on the back of this. The 43 BMW not with the same kind of performance advantage that we saw earlier on in the hands of Chaz Mostert when it was a little cooler this morning, but it was dark. But don't get me wrong, that's still clearly a very quick motor car. And ahead of them, 7. Keep your eyes peeled on the Stracker 55 Mercedes AMG GT3. Young Lewis Williamson been with that team in other forms of racing, and he has got target acquired on the back of Craig Lowndes' car. It's the 58 McLaren, sorry, the little gig of the Mercedes AMG E63S safety car. There's that battle. That's Williamson in the black and fluorescent yellow AMG GT3, and he's up alongside the McLaren and goes round the outside into the Audi cutting. Well, that is possibly the callousness of youth there from Lewis Williamson, but also the experience of Craig Lowndes to say, you know what, I'll live to fight another day.
Yeah, I think possibly more the latter than the former. Craig knows where it's at on it. I think he realises he doesn't quite have the car speed of those around him at the moment. So, as we've said at the start of the race, there's no point.
Later on in the race, and it's about being there at the end. 75 Mercedes AMG GT3 also going past Lowndes' McLaren there.
Jamie Whincup, so teammate.
Yeah.
And from the V8 Supercar Championship, they know each other very well indeed. And Whincup now at the
8th, 9th and 10th continues on. Now another move. Lowndes about to drop another position as Kevin Estra goes past on the run-up Audi Mountain Straight.
Shout out for that 75 Sun Energy One racing team as well. There
from Jamie as he passed Craig Lowndes, as he did not too long ago when he surpassed his record number of wins in the Supercars Championship. They're both Centurions. Whincup now with just a couple more victories than Craig Lowndes, who went winless last year for the first year in ages.
And Jamie Whincup gets a bit of clear air in the 75 and punches in its best sector.
Mark Cars Australia entry, Aaron Cameron behind the wheel. Full front end. We're right on board. Let's have a listen, perhaps, at this amazing car. 5.2 litre V8, 620 horsepower.
The big lift there was to let one of the Audis go through. Smart driving. That is a gorgeous piece of kit, and everything that Mark Cars Australia have learned in the last few years with their 4-door body machines has gone into the new 2-door coupes. They've been taking that brand around the world. 24-hour races in the US as well. The 43 I think was in second when he got pinged, but yeah, top car. And the 17 car, Stephen Kane, will be being told now on the radio. So he's peeled immediately off to the right-hand side. He's going to come in straight away, I think. Yep, dive straight to the lane. No sense in leaving it any longer. Get it in, get it done, and get back up to speed. And just drive through, don't speed. Remember the pit lane speed limiter. And let's get out and do it. So that means that the Pro-Am car is going through. The Icebreak Porsche and Pat Long, the Californian.
It's a far cry from my old car to Focus. This car is You know, if I've driven a GT3 car, this would be as close as I think that it would be to that. It's super to drive. It's easy for me. Again, you know, I can't get enough of it.
A lot better than going to work, Keith. You're an inspiration. Keep up the great work.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's a massive headline, isn't it? Racing better than going to work. Shocker. I'm not going to...
Champion V8 supercars.
Beamer's got a tour here. Nah, not quite enough. 100 laps are in the book at the 2018 Liqui-Moly Bathurst 12. Pat Long coming down to complete another lap. And into the pit lane for the second place car. Significant action at the front of the field.
They did.
Oh, outside's only there.
Yep, working side. Right-hand side's a loaded side. Hole was perfect for that car. So they are one set less out of the 12 that everybody else has got to play with during the race. Don't know if it'll affect them.
Keeping him honest and a bit more in the 75 AMG GT3. And once again, we've got this clumping of cars, which tends to happen. Steve Richards right in there in the white and fluorescent.
And throw all of the resources YNA Autosport has to throw at it. But this is a big story. It's one of the most favoured combinations the driver was running. Unfortunately, he just slipped off that. And a little bit of debris coming off the Bend Motorsport Park sponsored Lamborghini. Just a bit of race tape.
Yeah.
Helping develop that car and run the early cars.
Another penalty car, 85, Joe Foster behind the wheel of the Porsche.
Oh, that's the leading car in Class B.
Yeah, impeding in a pit stop, so a double stacking style scenario. Richo finally gets past the Lamborghini.
More work here taking place on the 58.
That's just a little bit earlier on, and they released the pressure valve on the system. And that is very hot indeed.
Oh, big lift, big slide, and
great save.
A little bit of contact.
Yeah.
The whole Team 19 Griff Corp entry.
The three different categories of the Class A runners. The AM category at the moment being led by the 69. This is all about driving.
Good results as part of either the International Motorsports team or the ice breaks.
Have a couple of sandwiches now, and hopefully the car's still running at the end and jump in.
Right, so just to clear that up, these nudges are accidental. They're all accidental.
Oh, 100%, 100%.
Good. I'll just make sure race control's got that.
I wouldn't do anything.
No, I know.
Experience, and definitely great to get some laps before the Adelaide 500.
Right, we're doing well on the bends, Jamie. Keep it up. Good luck.
4 marked cars, the Gen 2 machine helped into the wall.
Oh dear. By 56.
Yeah, that in second position in the green, white and black number 991 Porsche.
Flag car 37, pit lane penalty drive-through for safety car restart breach.
Another one.
Flag car 37, pit lane penalty drive-through, safety car restart breach. Thank you.
Robin Frines. Robin Frines, 5th place. Another top contender. Trips up over the safety car rules and ends up in pit lane. These teams need to go and read the standing regulations around this race event and work out what's going on, because this is costing a lot of people a lot of track position in this race.
Krause, you might buy in this discussion right now, because Shay Adam and I were actually chatting to Chaz Mostert before the start of this race about this very issue. And
36 seconds doing a drive-through penalty, that's the kind of stuff that can really ruin your day.
Yeah, the drivers walk the track. They walk the track for a number of reasons. You're looking at what
point, where does the time go? I'm speculating as to the future of this car in this race today, because it's been
nimble indeed. But at the moment, the guys who do the balance of performance, those really tricky sums to get cars with different characteristics to be able to compete on the same playing field and at the same circuits, well, their numbers are adding up perfectly, because we've got a right old battle at the head of the 2018 Liqui-Moly Bathurst 12 hours fields.
So first and second, Chris Mason, Kevin Estra. Third and fourth, Garth Tander, Stephen Richards. So the contrast there between two gun internationals until the most. That's why it's the Porsche Carrera Cup Asian team entry.
Second time that car's been in the wall, and it's another rear suspension. Entered the piece spinning backwards. Yep. Already, I think, had a touch on the wall before it ended up to driver's right at the top of the mountain.
Could have been a much heavier hit.
Oh no, he just left it on his own. Did he get a touch there? From the Lambo behind? Not often when a car's in the wall with broken suspension, you say that could have been worse, couldn't it? And pit stop for the leaders. In fact, make that the top three. Mies, Estra and Tandra in the 74, 991 and 22 come in. And Steve Richards will come in as well. Busy in the pits.
So to land, the 540 Black Swan car came in. Mark Lee jumps out and hands over to Lucas Stoltz, his first stint of the weekend, and indeed his first laps of Bathurst in a race. The number 991 Craft Bamboo Racing Porsche sees Earl Bamber behind the wheel for the first time today. And the number 911, that is the Manthai Racing Porsche.
Far better, the 55. Lewis Williamson, what a talent he is.
That tyre's destroyed for Alvaro Perez. So it'll be interesting to find out where that puncture hit.
The garage, and the wheel was in two parts. Now, whether that was cause or effect, we can't comment right now. Alvaro Go infringements have been the order of the day at the restarts, and it's been at the front of the field. There's the green flag. Now you can go, and Tander gets on it early, but Chris Mies, but Chris Harser rather behind him gets a good start too. The two Audis have pulled away from the rest of the field, and these two are going to be battling down into Porsche Hell Corner. Looks to me as though Garth Tander has nailed it though, guts it. Yeah, 1-2 cars lengths, that's all you need, Creelty.
That's Robin Freins in the WRT car, so it's a lapped car, and he's actually just gone a lap down in that safety car shuffle. So that's cost the 37 entry quite poorly. That whole shuffle, they were on the lead lap, but they've now got a lap behind. So Chris Harser is buried in this field. There he is at the top of the Audi Sport Mountain Straight. He's dicing with Rafael Marciello. That's a change of position. He's just got third away.
Look at
so it goes through.
Wow. Viper's just romping away up the hill, away from the battle for second position. There's Harser then in second place with Marciello in the 75 Sun Energy 1 Mercedes in third position. Fourth place is Lewis Williamson, not in that Mercedes, a green one, but the one behind that, the Stracker colours. It's a black car with the very wide indeed from Harser, almost in the fence at BP Ultimate Reed Park.
Yeah, it's Mike Kane behind the wheel of the Viper, and he just jumped out of the way there at Reed Park. And Christopher Harser, I'm not sure he expected that, and stormed up the inside, but was very close to slapping the water. One Audi with brand new rubber, the other not.
Turn one here, car going wide, it's the 88 Ginetta.
Oh, that was a wall kiss. It was the slightest of kiss, but has he done damage to the suspension would be my question there.
17-year-old Will Tregurtha at the wheel of that.
Young Austrian driver, he's a superstar in the making, and what a get for BMW to flick him down to BMW Team SRM for this weekend.
Yeah, BMW rebuilt. If they wanted to enter that car as a Pro-Am, it was starting to get a little bit difficult, so they decided to bring someone else in. David Calvert-Jones has done his time in that car, so now it's all about the run to the finish, and they can split the time up between the hot shoes.
Yeah, the same can be said for the number 540 Porsche that's just gone through with Stoltz behind the wheel.
Lucas Stoltz, what a driver he's been in the last couple of 3 years.
They've ticked their boxes as far as the AM component goes as well. Unfortunately, one less in the race with Ken Bajan crashing out early in practice on the weekend. Great to hear that he was okay after that incident. Mercedes goes up the inside, dicing with the Owen Lamborghini. It's Steve Owen behind the wheel, still one lap down, still trying to battle their way back onto the lead lap.
See, you can hold up the leader, but once you've dropped off his fuel, they've topped him up so they can go longer. But remember, you've only got a finite number of tyres here, gentlemen. So that saves a newer set of tyres for that 22 car for later in the race. And with respect to what we're watching now, it's great for us, but the teams are going, yeah. But the headlines are written in 6.5 hours' time, guys. If Harser comes to us, yeah, we'll give him a fight. But let's just stay with him, because we want to be ahead in 6 hours 25 minutes. In the great GT3, great selection of GT3 races that they can cherry pick around the world. Battle for the lead, and the battle for the lead has just changed. Going into the right-hander that leads up the hill, that's Griffin's Bend, and
that felt inevitable. The pace that Harser had was closing in on Tander. The question now is, can they run formation and keep the AMG
move by the two jamming in the
car boards and flags. Safety car boards and flags. We have a car stopped.
Well, we've got another safety car intervention in the 20. Team Audis swapping position. Garth Tander giving way to Chris Harzer. And I say that advisedly. They're on different strategies right now. Harzer with newer Pirelli rubber. And then the 12 car helping that BMW. Alex Davidson pushing the BMW number 13 into the wall there. There was definitely...
They are trying to fix it, though, so that's the good news. The better news for Craig Lowndes, I think you've actually figured it out, Lowndesy. All you've got to do is keep that giant fan there, and this thing will run fine all day.
Just put a little generator in the passenger.
Sliding before we had the touch. Not far away from a restart. Christopher Harzer has it all to do with Garth Tander right on his tailpipes.
Liqui-Moly Bathurst 12 hour. We're inching our way to the halfway point of this motor race. Some people finding new and exciting ways to keep themselves entertained while this race goes on.
Why is the trackside watching? The track was right there.
He is.
But he's the man at the wheel of that Porsche, and he'll want to dispose of the Ginetta as quickly as possible, but he can't do it before the stripe. So the two Audis get a free pass through Maguire's corner, and they can build a lead as we're back under green flag running.
Couldn't have made it any easier for those two J-Mac Pem Racing Audis. Christopher Harzer in front of Garth Tander, powering away out in front. Earl Bamber next, he's in that white, green and black Craft Bamboo Racing Porsche. Philip Eng in behind, then it's Romain
And Earl Bamber, this is the battle for third position with the BMW M6 chasing that Porsche, which really didn't seem to be up to much in qualifying. So fast into the right-hand kink, the quickest corner in Australian motorsport, and they're not hanging around before they then hit the brakes at the Boost Mobile chicane. That BMW does look a little bit faster, straight line speed, but cannot get the overlap on Earl Bamber as they head into the
noise of the Porsches, and then that low rumble of the V8 in the Mercedes AMG GT3s.
For the Porsches, qualifying and practice didn't exactly go the way they'd planned. Lawrence Vantor, it was P18.
It's the three Porsches now running together down Conrod Straight at 12. Alex Davison getting a big tour onto Romain Dumas. Might get the overlap, does get the overlap, and through the Boost Mobile chase into that braking area, and he had to make that move, Johnny Palmer, because there's a big BMW looming large, and that's got Augusto Farfus behind the wheel, and you know, fair play to the guy who's being passed again. Romain Dumas has got a lot of experience. There's no sense in shutting the door there. They both end up in the ground else.
I totally understand what Chad's saying, though, down in the pit lane. You gain a huge margin here, and then you lose it in a split second sometimes, whether that be through a penalty or with a safety car, which bunches the field up again. Tremendous speed being shown here by Christopher Harzer as he goes across the line, but there's a big incident at the top of the mountain. Is that at Skyline?
It was the 67, the Mark II.
It's okay.
Green car. He is a very lucky man in just trickled slightly wide. And at that point, he's airborne. He's massively airborne. Working for him on that one. Hello to our international listeners and viewers. We're keeping it going for you, flag to flag here. Great to hear where you are in the world. Thank you very much indeed, Johannes Quagliga, over this, because Mateus, regular driver with Paul Dall'Anna and Pedro Lamy, much more used to seeing those guys in Aston Martin and racing in the world in June.
Show, so you know, hopefully we can do the same again this year.
Mick, it's always awesome to see you here, mate. Enjoy the good
fortune to watch him at Race of Champions and call his exploits there. And he embarrassed a lot of better-known four-wheel drivers. Yeah, that 66 car coming to a halt to a grid. I was just trying to decide if there was anything coming out of it. And also the 54, the Toolpro car. This is one of the Mark Cars Australia Mark II machines. That fire extinguisher into it, but it's the far side away from the wall, difficult to get to. And you can see the heat going through the carbon fibre bonnet. The problem with carbon fibre is it burns at a very high temperature, and once it does get alight, it's almost impossible to stop it. And of course those marshals are on the wall. Paul trying to get round the other side to where the flames are.
Next fire suit, and he's fairly adept that he's going to make this happen for himself. Gets around the other side, and that should call the fire, but there's...
Intervention vehicle arriving with the bigger bottles.
That's a significant failure.
Yeah.
It's like an oil line's come off that car. Wow. Huge fire.
Oh,
Chad?
yeah, well, he'll have seen that.
Here for me will be, will they still be first and second at the other side of this pit sequence because they lost almost minutes?
Yeah, but the answer will be, Chad, that yes, because everyone's stopping. Everyone's coming in and everyone was in the same boat. So they all missed that pit window.
Yeah.
So Haase, Tander, Philippine in the BMW, El Bamba in the Porsche, Alex Davison in the Porsche, and Farfus in the Schnitzer BMW. They're all in.
Just a shout out for Paul Morris, by the way.
For the new Mark II races. Keith Kasuki's number 91 car still in front in the class. Grant Denyer in the older model 93 car, second in race in Industries Class I.
And that was starting to flame a little bit as well, but that was just excessive heat from the exhaust.
Yeah, interesting little scenario that Brenton Grove, who races in Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge, had to jump out of his car. Daniel Gaunt able to jump in. We're still under safety car at Mount Panorama. We're not far away from a race restart. The Porsche still leads the way. We're well into the second half, the Bathurst 12 hour.
Jules Gounon second in the Bentley now after that set of pit stops. So they stayed out as well, as did Cam Waters in the 55 Stracker Mercedes AMG GT3. So again, what we're seeing here is a variety of strategy. Romain Dumas by far longest into the pits, into his run rather. That had gone down from that Mark II car right about here. And there is the oil dry, as well as the what's left of the extinguishant. Down towards the final corner, Romain Dumas waited till the Liqui-Moly bridge to jump away. He hasn't got the best of starts, and Jules Gounon's right there with a big 4-litre V8 Bentley. He's tracking the Porsche, and Dumas goes defensive very early indeed. He's going to have to stay in the middle of the road now. That will compromise his exit from Porsche corner, and here comes the Bentley. Super set up by Gounon. This is a brilliant restart from the Bentley driver, and he powers through to the lead of the Liqui-Moly Bathurst 12 hours.
He's back where that car has already been today. What a lead. What a pass. Great restart from the Bentley driver. Dived up the outside at Porsche held corner. Did the switchback manoeuvre and straight line performance. There was a bit of a moment for Dumas on the exit of turn one.
It was very good indeed. Set it up on the Liqui-Moly straight. The 88 Ginetta. It's been a bad weekend from the cars from Garforth, and the 88's gone in hard.
88 car will straight away out of the car, and it's a thumbs up to the marshals nearby as well. They build these Ginettas very strongly indeed. Let's have a look what happened to the 88. It was the two cars involved, and unfortunately Sam Fillmore going off in his own accident, and will trigger.
Yeah, as the field concertinaed up. Further back, Porsche corner, Porsche off the road.
It's not the first time we've said that either, Krillsy, is it? That was the it's the 40 car.
That's the innards of a Ginetta spilling down the 1 in 6 gradient towards the top of Mountain Straight.
Oh dear. Johnny saying about the Ginettas, there is space.
Car for 60 odd laps, so he should jump out of the number 911 Porsche. Is it Guy Smith jumping back in the Bentley?
Doesn't seem long since he was in. Certainly not an hour.
50 car.
Listen to this in real time, and then you'll understand the ferocity of the impact. Ouch.
They're getting bang for buck at the moment. Young Cam Waters is doing a superb job behind the wheel of this Stracker racing car. Very cool to have that outfit. The crack team from the UK who have had success in some of the great races around the world racing in our little mountain. There's a battle going on behind. Some blocking going on. The 75 AMG going defensive at turn 1. Involved in that is Philippine. It's Tristan Vautier, the Frenchman, behind the wheel of the AMG. He's mixed up in all this, so too is the lap car. The Grove Group Porsche with Daniel Gaunt behind the wheel. A fill-in driver with Brenton Grove now too ill to race for the remainder of the day. This is busy. Up the hill to turn 2. Kelvin van der Linden looking to go around the outside. Was busy an understatement.
Car 21, black flag, car 21. Reckless driving, 5-minute stop penalty at your bay.
Oh, that's huge.
Reckless driving, 5-minute penalty, stop penalty at your bay. Thank you.
That's Daniel Studdard.
Yep, that's the car that caused that incident up at turn 2.
Yeah, and you know what?
Do we agree?
I have no issue with that whatsoever. You've adversely affected situation taken over from the one, the only, the great Aussie, Alan Gow.
And that's the equivalent of our CAMS, Federation of Australian Motor Racing. So, yeah, very interesting. This is a battle. Tristan Vautier looking up the inside of Stu Leonard now. It's for third place on the road. And Vautier goes through. The fast Frenchman marching forward.
And it looks like the 100 car of Philip Eng is going to take advantage of that as well. As Stuart Leonard, that was very, very sensible by Stuart. Just let him go there. No need to fight.
An engine revving hard. No screaming going on here, except perhaps in the driver's head or maybe the porta potty out the back of the garage. If Bathurst history is anything to go on, this is that 5-minute penalty.
Time to do a couple of boiled eggs for the 37 car.
I think he's just got shuffled down the pack, basically.
Oh, yeah.
Stuart Leonard, as I say, was just the cork in the bottle, in a sense, behind... he was in front of Augustov Tin. Cameron Waters leading the way from Marcus Finkelhock by 2.3 seconds.
Such tight race.
So, yeah, some good pedigree, Stuart Leonard, but in this phase of the race, that Audi's just not quite up to speed with the cars around him.
Great dive down the inside. The Stu's going to lose another couple of positions. Well, actually, he's only going to lose one more position as Matty Campbell goes through. And he's now up in...
That's a lot. I don't have those stats.
How many baths is that for you over the year, Crailsey? Problem...
We're still all sitting here scratching our heads on to what exactly occurred that amazing day in October last year.
Safety car boards and flags. Safety car boards and flags.
Confirmation of our 12th safety car due to the Daytona coupe parked up on the run to the Audi cutting.
Philip Eng in the 100. Now the pit crews go to work. Fuel first of all, remember, for the 55 car. The car is grounded. That's the 55 car.
We did such a good job in the lead of that race. Not sure why you take him out at this point. He's got plenty of driver time left, so keep on to a good thing. Said Richo on his helmet.
Oh, that's fine, because it was Eng that brought it in.
Yeah.
Eng that brought in a number of other guest drivers in that normal trio, or with that normal trio.
So while all this is sorting itself out, a brief glance to the timing. Trofeo, Lamborghini Huracan, and Ash Walsh in the number 69 Audi. Wow, Farfus overshoots his marks.
Oops.
Just slightly. Yeah, driver change going on here. Marco Wittmann going back in.
The 74 Audi will bring them back.
In pit lane.
Will bring them back to the green flag. It's the
green flag.
22 car, 2 cars back that he's racing, the AMG GT3 in between. He's trying to get a lap back there. That's the Straka car that's in the mix, but not for the lead. Green flag is out, and once again the 2 Jamik Penn cars are at the head of the field. Beautiful team management from them. Third back is Matty Campbell in the dark brown and red ice brake Porsche, and he's under pressure from a car that's also lapped down. That's the 777, the Lamborghini of Luke Yulden, who was lightning quick this morning in the darkness hours. Solid that has been at the moment. Problem for the 56 car. It's amazing, isn't it? A lot of the 2-car teams, one car has had an absolute nightmare while the other has run faultlessly, and this is the Straka car that hasn't run faultlessly. There's been a bang on the wall somewhere there, Johnny.
Well, it's out.
And was it as far back as Griffin's bet? Oh, might have just been a failure.
Yeah.
Might have just been a failure. Riding actively got casters on the bottom of the car so they can move it around. There is a little bit of a graze just above the left rear guard, so there may have been earlier Stoltz and Guy Smith on a battle pair in the battle pack from Boost Mobile as they head up the Audi mountain straight. Not too far behind. Dirk Vernet back installed behind the wheel of the 911. That's the very bright yellow and green Manti racing car. Here comes Guy Smith up the inside. He's got position in a Griffin's Bend. Gets there, gets to the Apex, gets through. Smart racing, smart driving by.
The race given how fast he's been, but I suppose that, wonder how much driver time he'll have left. Speaking of pressing on, Marcus Winkelhock, big slide. This is from on board. BP Ultimate Reed Park.
Not leaving much on the table there, was he? Just had to get out of the throttle as it's competition. That gap is beginning to stretch out. These guys need to be working together, not fighting.
Yeah, and it's sort of key, really.
The AMG safety car, because they've just completed about 30 laps on that last stint. That's one in the wall, right when we're talking about it. And it's gone heavily into the Shannon Stipper wall.
It's the second place
Second
car.
place car, Kelvin van der Linde, is in the wall at the Shannon Stipper.
And the left rear tyre's down now. Is that due to the contact, or did it happen before?
To get that car turned around. Just the merest hint of a touch whilst he was coming through to pass the marked cars.
Oh, no. So he's done that on his own, Kelvin van der Linde. He's gone wide through the Coates High S's to try and pass the Taunton marked car. This will show it from on board.
Do I go, don't I go? Do I go, don't I go? On the curb, come on, I'm going to go around the outside. Oops, I've got no grip. And thank you and good night.
Straight into the fence. Going to take some time. That's their race, I reckon.
Well, their race for a win.
Yep.
Down at the Jamak Pem crew, that's not going to cause a huge problem as it goes up onto its jacks. Mention, you know, he's got to go through the dipper at some point. Well, Kelvin van der Linde makes a mistake. All of a sudden, we've got just one Jamak Pem Audi out front. It's Marcus Winkelhock here at the mountain.
Issues with the overheating has already taken one of the other cars out. Guy Smith has done it a few times, actually, including in a Lamborghini, which is pretty brave.
Yeah.
You kind of put the kibosh on that for good yesterday.
We have, yeah. We actually caught up quite a bit last week. We were down in the tennis, which was a brilliant week down there, and Seven did a cracking job of covering that. But we had a few bigger Porsche out having a great job in the second place.
How important for a young driver like Matty Campbell from this area of the world is it to get recognition from Porsche, and what can that do for his career as a global GT and endurance driver? Right on its tail, the Objective Motorsport McLaren with Jackson Evans behind the wheel.
Right now, and then the team can put the tyres on, so...
got to get those shoulder straps right over your hands device, because if it goes down onto your collarbone, there's no way you can get them back up when you're trying to drive.
It's hard. It looks fine for us with this camera angle. I tell you, when you're in the car with a helmet on, you can see absolutely nothing. You're trying to feel around and rah-rah, so...
Was that a problem for you coming from an...
drive around and have... like Heathrow Airport in terms of runoff area and not really be stimulated in that front. I mean, we saw just about half an hour ago a car obviously running wide on the marbles now, and the penalty is huge, right?
The ruined Spa because of that. They're slightly held up by one of the marked car. Mazda V8s, he had to take avoiding action as that car pulled into its pit stall ahead of it. He gets stopped first. And for them, coming through now, the Boost Mobile chase and down to finish the lap. The 12 Porsche has joined back in, right in the mix of a fabulous battle between Jackson Evans and Jerome Liqui-Moly.
He doesn't make it easy for them, which is exactly what he's the old McLaren slide down the inside. So, but he's an absolute pro, mate, and I just want to make sure that it is open, super open, mate.
14 seconds at the moment, though. He's comfortable for Rafael Barcelo. Mark Webber's been in the booth with us. Thanks for his insight as we continue to count down at the last 3.5 hours here at the mountain. Coming now, and you've only got to go downtown to see how many people are down there. And Krilsey, the number is?
So 41,610 over the 3 days, which is just over 3% up on the total attendance of 20
spectators. What we see is a tortuous ribbon of tarmac going up and down. He sees it flat. He's looking on where to get the car in and out of the pit lane to maximise the gaps and the lap times. Add up, and it'll be Cam Walters that will lead round. 75 car stationary in the pit lane. Don't worry, there's nothing wrong. They can't touch that car whilst the fuel is going in.
Pat's a professional. He knows these cars so well, so he's doing really well. So let's see how it revels out in the last stint. The pace is pretty good. I don't think quite as good as some of the top couple of cars.
All right, so you're back in about an hour. What's it like to drive around this track in the Porsche?
I'm a Porsche guy. I love racing Porsches, so I feel...
Formation over the top of the mountain. This is the car that was at the back of the grid this morning at 5:45.
Now just in front of them is your own Liqui-Moly. So this is to put him a lap down and remove one of these cars from the leading group. So he's on 193, the leader's 194.
But higher, longer, and there is the 43 car, as Richard Krill predicted, heading into the lane from second position. Marco Wittmann then goes into the pit lane.
Trying to hunt down those two McLarens and the Porsche, the 911 of Dirk Werner, that he has rejoined the race right next to. Andrew Watson is in the 47 car.
So they did.
But these race cars don't stay the same for too long, and Chaz has been out of that car for 2.5 hours, but I have a feeling they may still be trying to get that car out again.
Because they won't give up.
No, and the beauty of Mark cars is that they kind of come in sections, so as long as you can detach the damaged bit and fit a new part, then we may well see that car again. But yeah, I mean, the 100 car, tremendous performance for that. And I'm also thinking about cars like the Porsches, the 991 and the 911, who were nowhere yesterday, but have got somewhere into
the flags being shown down into the Boost Mobile Chase as they come round to complete their 201st lap.
It's a BMW that has Chaz Mostert behind the wheel and sits in 8th place. He goes down the inside of Jackson Evans. That was actually for position, past the Objective Racing car, and then decided he needed to deal with the lap traffic as well. Bold moments, the top of the boldest bit of racetrack in the land.
Split-second decisions, Krilsey. You just don't get the chance to sort of plan and scheme too much around here. You've got to take the opportunity when it comes. And at the moment, Chaz Mostert is trying to maybe fashion an opportunity on the Porsche right ahead of him. Dirk Werner's got a bit of experience in Porsches, and he is trying to ignore the lights of that 43 car behind him. But a blue riband event that all of the international drivers simply have to do, and better yet, they want the win on the CV.
Tough old one at Bentley. Not only has one of their cars been through the wars, one's been trucking away and they've been busy looking after it. It's been a big week for them. I don't think they've...
Everybody's just enjoying this, and there's a rather nice breeze blowing through garage number 25, so the guys are enjoying that while lying down. I mean,
to country New South Wales especially, but so much to see and do in all of this here.
Stop it right now. It's bad enough when you just sneeze into your racing or motorcycle helmet. I just don't want to think about that at all, Krilsey.
Painting a very good picture, unfortunately.
Driver 2, raced in the GT3 Cup Challenge, made Porsche Series last year, finished second in that championship to Jordan Love. A lot of race wins along the way. He's got a bright future ahead of him. It's been a long term.
WM6 GT3 is now around the back and up the inside of David Firminelli. And that's
known as an enormously hard track on brakes, but there are a couple of very severe stops. Supercars champion, winner of this race last year. Can he go back to back?
Well, I reckon under 3 hours now.
In the M6, trying to get past.
Now, Mostert had passed Estra, but Estra passed him straight back.
That's right.
So they just swapped positions. So this is a furious battle. It's 3rd, 4th and 5th on the road.
Stephen Kane is the first of those cars from 3rd down. This little battle pack in behind the leader in the invitational class, and that's Will Brown behind the wheel of that. And so close, the BMW and the Porsche. Barely three together. Mostert, I think, just touched the wall and possibly the Porsche ahead. And they're almost 3 wide at the Bentley elbow. That is extraordinary. Driving the yard 3 wide. Oh, and it's gone. The Bentley's gone. In with the Class B Porsche, and Mostert is off as well and picking their way through. I think was Estra's got through. It's the Class B Porsche who got caught up in all of that.
Yep, Estra went through, but Chaz Mostert's got damage and the Bentley's got damage. And I'll tell you what, if we go safety car, timing of the millennium for car 74,
just come into the pits.
So Chris Haase jumps out of that car.
And then as he comes down, there's an opportunity as Kevin Estre in the 991 Porsche ducks out one way and then the other. Already one tap. Then he goes round the outside. That's a brilliant, bold manoeuvre. And then I think he's going to tap the Bentley. Yes, he does. And he puts the Bentley into the 40 Porsche.
I think that's on Chaz. He got caught up behind the yellow Porsche on the outside of the road there. Tried to find the hole in the middle that didn't really exist. There was maybe just a car width there. This will show it even better.
Kersey, I'm not sure. The 91 leader in the Invitational class was in that as well. But Mostard's put himself in the wrong part of the track. Then has to... Oh, he gets a tap. Mostard's got a tap from Estre as well. Yeah. The only person I think that I can say with some degree of certainty, with absolutely no blame, unfortunately, is the Bentley and Stephen Kane.
So Mostard gave Estre a whack coming out of the S's. This will be interesting.
Oh, did he come across?
Bang, 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 bang.
Well, he's trying to go 3 abreast out of the Bentley elbow with one of those cars nowhere near the speed of a GT3. Yeah, it's a back marker.
That needed to happen. They're just about to get to 1.8 kilometres of long.
Curse of the mountain has hit Bentley and M Sport again. The other car involved there is the 40 Porsche. Yeah, that's a good question. That is a good question.
Chad's, how he's crunching the numbers while crunching pit lane at the same time, I have no idea. Very impressive.
Parallel processing of the race. Racing karma, maybe, I don't know. That's a tough one. But the upshot of it is we have the upshot is that we have lost some contenders. Been a long stop for the 100 because they've done rotors and brakes, so discs and brakes, and they're going to get out just in front of the pack. As in comes the 12 right at the end. That's still not within. I don't think
off.
That's the leader going off.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, Marcus Winkelhock jumps to the front in the Audi. So it's all teeing off. He's going to go a lap down here. Car 100, Timo Glock, if he's not very, very careful and doesn't get out of pit lane all too quickly, that might be the moment that ends their race. Timo Glock has to stay on the lead lap here. He's got brand new brakes in this car. He's got new tyres and a full tank of fuel. But he's going to be a lap down. That went much longer than it needed to.
Pat Long did peel into the pit in the competition motorsport, the icebreaker car number 12, and the 100 does go a lap down. Key moment of the race for another key contender. So they left Pat out as long as they could, but we're still at 2 hours 20 is to stand on the brakes and have 2 cars wide, while after you, Sebastian, type of thing.
Yeah, that's the...
And we've got another wheel gone missing. Coming down the hill.
That's the 777, the Ben Motorsport Park Lamborghini.
Now, is this going to be another full course yellow? Yellow here?
Well, there's a wheel in the middle of the track, yes. Yeah, there we go.
Corner on straight, driver's right.
I mean, it's not a call I'm proud of.
Systems that Progressive Motorsport do from just down the road, actually, just up the A43 from Toaster at Brackley, home of Mercedes AMG car. Fred McAvicky. It's supercar driver Jamie Whincup versus the world of endurance racing. Cutting a bit of a lone figure there. He's got Tim Slade down in 6th position. Just to back up a little bit, the local driving talent. Green, 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 and we are restarting for the 14th time. Winkelhock, not a great start. He's allowed everyone to drag up behind him, immediately pulls half a car's length or a car's length over to the left-hand side, then back to the racing line as he comes down to the first corner. Turned in a bit early there. I think he was worried about Fringe coming up the inside there.
And not once in the last half an hour have we mentioned Slade and that Objective Racing McLaren, but they are every much in this race as everyone else in this leading battle pack. These cars are all on the lead lap. They are all fighting for the lead of the race. And around the outside goes Fred McAvicky. Actually, correction, sorry, that's El Bamber, isn't it? So he's lost a spot. Position.
So what we've just done is spent 5 minutes between us all saying we haven't got a clue what's going to happen in the last 2 hours of the race.
It's par for the course of this race, isn't it?
It certainly is. And
Flags 91. Pit lane penalty drive-through.
That's the leader.
Engine running whilst refueling during pit stop at 12:10.
That's Class I, Racer Industries Class I, leading car. They've been out there for such a long time, and they've only got a 7-second lead on the 93 mark cars, the Mazda V8. That's a big call.
And to bring up car 12, Alex Davison Do you think they're going to have to make 2 stops or a splash right at the end yet?
They'll be able to get home on 1 stop from here, but the difficult thing for that car is they'll have to do a driver change over to Matt Campbell, so they don't have the ability to try and just do fuel only with that car. They'll have to make that happen as well. And it sounds like we've got potentially Winkelhock as it stopped out on track right now.
Drama,
Goodness
massive
me.
drama. And Winkelhock from the lead. And the irony of irony that he's in the Audi Sport cutting and the car is dead stick. He's allowing it to roll backwards. Griffin's bend, that's good. Oh, transmission.
That's broken the gearbox.
The transmission's gone and he's got no drive to the rear wheels. And we apologise for anything that you might be hearing through the internal camera.
Well, he's got every right to be upset. Wow.
Extraordinary. And Winkelhock knows that he has been robbed of a really good finish and possibly a victory.
Horrible sense of irony that
His 2018 racing year, one that he's probably going to want to forget. In comes the 75, Jamie Whincup from 2nd position. It's going to cost them something, but it's not as bad as being in the wall. French came in as well. So the 37 came in, the 75 early. That's the
Gary
lead car.
Jacobson car.
Yeah, 2nd place. So we've had problems for the 91 and the 93 now. Races he was talking about that.
Yeah, I know. Such a great year 2017 was for Marcus Winkelhock, winning just about every major.
Desperately trying to save some fuel. In comes the 29, Dean Canto, bringing in the Trofeo Motor.
Guys in here, they're doing a great job. So 30 years at Bathurst, 30 is Seaton's number, and we've got the
green flag at the start-finish line. The car behind is not in contention. The bright green, yellow Manthey Racing Porsche has the resurgent Jules Gunon behind the wheel of the Bentley. But that car taken out of the race earlier on in terms of contention for the lead. David Fuminelli is in 2nd position, and he is the first of the Mercedes AMG GT3 cars as they head up Audi Mountain Straight. Let the Bentley go, let it go. Ooh, that's the leader of the race, Jules. You can't be getting involved. If you're going to make a pass, you've got to make it straight away.
Or if you're the leader, just let him go. Let him go by.
Yeah.
It's not going to cost you any time. Got a little bit of margin over Fuminelli behind in the 55.
2 laps short. I think he's 2 laps short on fuel to go from here, unless he gets some help from another safety car intervention. 36 laps would give him 73 minutes or thereabouts. And we are about, when I did that calculation, we're at 78 minutes.
Well, if they're 3 laps short, so too would Mark Lead, because they're on the same strategy. Matt Campbell stopped 2, so they're 21 laps to do a stint.
Anybody who's well into the stint, Krilsey, has got to go to the end of their fuel.
Yeah,
and they've got to hope that it stays green as long as possible and they can make hay in the sunshine.
Yeah, and bank a shorter pit stop.
Correct.
To drop
thing out right, purely because of the cautions we've had and the way that those teams have played things. The 55 just shooting up through the Audi cutting in hot pursuit of this man, Fred Makovici for Manthey.
Closing in.
Well, this is building. There's lots to come. The final pit stops coming your way as we decide the final order, the Liqui-Moly Bathurst 12-hour.
Yum, yum, yum.
Can resume under its own power.
Car with Fuminelli at the wheel then, underneath the Liqui-Moly bridge, and dives to the pit lane. So this is the first of the leaders blinking now, and this may well trigger other pit stops. Makovici has gone through on his 35th lap. It'll be a timed stop for these guys. He's in the lane now. Here comes the leader. This is one of a number of turning points that may decide the 2018 Liqui-Moly Bathurst 12 hours. And we're watching it live from trackside. Fred Makovici is in, Manthey ready to receive, Romain Dumas ready, GT3 is in, the Boost mobile chase right now. The Porsche's fired up and gone, magnificent change from Manthey, and will get out off the pit lane speed limit and up Audi Mountain Straight. My goodness, Manti come to life, and that puts that car in with a shout of something. I'm not sure what, but there's a shout of something.
Scotty McLaughlin in the 47 YNA Autosport McLaren, and judged to cross
to make sure that they didn't get away with another one. So it's going back in the garage. It won't start under its own power.
See the above comments for that one. As the leader comes round and through the first corner, heads up Mountain Straight. So there's Whincup in second. I think he's in the same boat as the Audi. The AMG GT3 hasn't been the most frugal of cars.
They're a little bit more confident than the two cars in front, but there's still a gigantic question mark, and he's going to have to save fuel to do it.
Well, he's lapping quickly at the moment, so that's... Well, no, he's to the 207, so he is saving fuel.
Yeah, massively saving fuel.
He's been doing 207s for the last few laps, actually, so that's a telltale sign for the Craft Bamboo car.
And for Matty Campbell, 206 last time around against the car's best of 204. That's not Matty forgetting how to drive. Then the 911 coming through. Romain Dumas, he's as quick as that car has been at any time. And I think, well, we know now that that car can go. The Porsches are playing a team game here. Franz and Whincup could get eaten up here, and Porsche could lock out the podium for the 2018 12 hours.
Robin Franz are now starting to get elongated a little bit.
Traffic.
You think?
Yeah.
206s?
Yeah, I do.
Losing 2 or 3 seconds a lap at the moment.
Alex Davison just pounded an ice break. You can't possibly need some sort of energy boost at this point. Are you guys feeling confident with the number?
Yeah. I remain fixed to that. At the very least, they can definitely be on the podium for this one.
22 laps, so we're getting towards 10 or 11 laps to go around here. The countdown is on at the mountain, and we'll 10 laps. That would make it a 41 lap stint. Even if it's only 9 laps, 8 laps, that would be 39, 38 laps, and we haven't seen an Audi do that in green flag all day.
Well, if that car wins this race, it'll do a Captain Kirk and boldly go where no Audi's gone before, because they just haven't had that economy all day. So just to reiterate, we're not convinced that anyone in the top 4 can make it home, and there's still a question mark and some biting of nails going on. The car in 5th place, there's a safety car.
That's it, the 69 Super Barn. Audi has gone around Ash Walsh, and there's a Merc up there as well, Mercedes AMG GT3 at least.
Car, I think, up against the wall.
That's an enormous accident.
Full course yellow. Now all bets are off. All bets are off. And down at Audi, they're getting ready.
There's a marked car there. See the driver moving around. Let's have a look. That's the WRT. Yeah, that's the leader going through, and Whincup goes through as well, and Crunch. Where does the Merc come in? Comes in afterwards.
Wait.
Oh, wow, that was close.
Just wait. The Merc's going to nail the door.
No.
Straight in. That is, fortunately, a left-hand drive car, so the driver on the far side from this secondary impact. 2 cars losing it almost in synchronization at the top of the mountain. The Mark V8 and the Super Barn Audi, and then the agonizing hit. Oh, that's a bad noise. That's a bad noise.
Another bodywork.
Yeah. Danger of picking up a puncture through that as well. 18 minutes and...
Let's have a look at this.
So the 19 losing it on his own.
That's fairly telling.
So nothing that could be done in the real time from the wall. This is just scary. Just listen to the effects here. There's a whole long wait. Here comes John Martin now.
That's what 200 Ks into a stopped car sounds like. Through time. Wait for it.
Now, the clock did pause for a moment, just over 8 minutes. It's now restarted and running again at 7 minutes and 31 seconds. And we still await something from race control.
So just hearing from Porsche before that red...
amount of headway being made at the top, or they assess what is a war zone of debris up there. You can avail yourself of the opportunity one day. The two things that most people say the first time they see it is, crikey, it's blind, and wow, it's steep.
It's narrow as well, had that in.
Yeah, and real fast. That's a 200 kilometre an hour bit of road. And that was a parked car being hit by a car doing probably...
37 to proceed slowly to perform podium procedures. I repeat, race has been declared due.
And Audi have won the 2018 Liqui-Moly Bathurst 12 Hours. The cheering that you could hear.
They are the most successful brand ever now. And on their first visit to the mountain, Audi Sport Team WRT win the Liqui-Moly Bathurst 12 Hour. And they will add that trophy to their vast trophy cabinet that includes...
Thank you very much.
Well, for Kenny Habul, it was a welcome return to the mountain. You don't quite make it to the top step, but you still got to that second one. Does it only make you want to come back next year?
270 laps completed, 271 laps completed, 1,683 Ks. That's how the top 10 stands. 7 cars finishing on the lead lap is a record for this race. The previous best was 5 on 2 occasions. Audi, Mercedes, AMG and Porsche represented on the podium. And check out the Porsches stacking 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th places. Over the page, some interesting stories to tell for these cars. What could have been, for a whole lot of them, as is often the case here at Mount Panorama, Class B taken out by the Grove Group Porsche, so that's the 3rd victory for them. Invitational class goes to Mark Cars Australia. What a remarkable day at Mount Panorama. Another day of records, another day of incredible motor racing, and a long list of non-finishers from the 50 starters that greeted the green flag at 5:45 a.m. this morning. An incredible day on the mountain. The Liqui-Moly Bathurst 12 Hour delivers once again